But the first thing that I'd actually really love to get your opinions on, I don't think we've ever really talked about this on the show or just in general, and that's the playoff format as a whole. I don't know if you saw this tweet that was circulating last night, but essentially every team that I think won more than 90 games this year was bounced in the playoffs. All the division winners were bounced, all the teams that won more than 100 games were bounced, and a lot of people are attributing this to the brand new playoff format. So players haven't really come out and said that's the reason that they've been sucking and have been losing these games. They pretty much come out and say, we got to do better. It's not the format. I don't think a player has the balls to come out and say, no, it's the format. We were cold. That's the reason we got eliminated. So, Josh, what are your thoughts quickly on this new playoff format and how you think it's affecting these teams? Because it's a small 2 year sample size, but the 2 year sample size has a lot of these really powerful teams getting eliminated quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think it's a conversation that we should have. I'm not sure if it's I think it's an excuse, but I mean, like if you really think about it, there's no reason why the Dodgers should fall completely flat and have absolutely nothing go well for them simply because of the playoff format. But in a 2 year sample size, it's definitely interesting that all these teams that have been red hot going into the postseason that have been good enough to earn that essentially that first round bye have all been bounced early. There's only one team who hasn't, and it's the Astros because of course it
Yeah.
is. 2 years in a row, they're the only team that's gotten that first round bye and hasn't been affected by it. But I mean, the fact that you can look at the four teams this year, and three of them were the three teams with the best records in baseball. And
Yeah.
the Orioles had absolutely nothing, got swept. The Dodgers had absolutely nothing, got swept, and the Braves lost the series 3 games to 1. Their series ended Friday night to the Phillies, and I think if you look at these teams, like sure, the Rangers going in, the Rangers were what, one, maybe two. Like if you look throughout the season, like you can pinpoint probably 10 to 15 things that went wrong for the Rangers, and if you change one of those, they win their division, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the alternative for the Astros. Like you pick one thing that goes wrong, they lose the division, and those two switch. But like the Phillies, like I think everybody knew that the Phillies were going to be a good team. Obviously, the Braves were really good, and they won that division with ease. But like everybody knew the Phillies were going to be a good team. The Dodgers, they win their division by 16 games, and it's the same thing that happens to them. So I feel like you have three kind of different scenarios between the three teams that it happened to. Three ball clubs that are completely differently built, and constructed and play a different kind of game, but still it's the same result. I mean, the Orioles get swept, the Dodgers get swept, and the Braves lose in four. So it's an interesting dynamic. I think it's an excuse. In the grand scheme of things, I think it's an excuse, but I don't know, man. It is for a 2 year sample size, and the results are all swinging in one way. That's definitely interesting.
I just think this would be easier if hitters came out and said it's affecting us as hitters. Having the 5 or 6 days, whatever it is, as a break is affecting us. It's impacting us at the plate because for the pitching side of things, you would think it's great. All these guys are getting all this rest. So for the pitchers, the starting pitchers, the bullpen arms, you would think it's an advantage. But yeah, offensively, because the thing, Josh, it's not like all three of these teams, the Dodgers, the Orioles, and the Braves, it's not like all of them, the offense came out swinging. It's just they lost each game like 10-8. Obviously, we know the Dodgers, I think, only scored 6 runs in their series. The Braves, they didn't score pretty much anything in their 4 game series. I
Yeah.
think their only showing was the game in which they came back, so their offense was quiet. And the same with the Orioles. So clearly, it's affecting the bats, but is that just postseason baseball where it's such a small sample size? Because I've said this before, Josh, and I stand by this stance. In the National League Division Series, with it being only a 5 game series, I think the worst team in baseball, which you could take the Oakland A's, the Kansas City Royals, I think you could put them in the Dodgers' shoes and they could win a series in 5 games against whoever they play. I just think it's the craziness and the crapshoot of postseason baseball. But yeah, it is a little bit interesting because now it's been 2 years, and I think it's something like 1-8, or it's something crazy where yeah, it's literally I think only the Astros in both years, like you said, they've been able to crack the system because of course they have. So I got no problem with it. At the end of the day, you just got to show up, you got to play better, and that's what the Dodgers need to do. But I just, again, I wish a player would come out and just say, yeah, it does affect us at the plate. Having 5 days off cools us down. I mean, I would really love to see, Josh. I don't know how you, I mean, I guess you could, you would just have to put a lot of time and effort into this. how players look offensively the first weekend after the All-Star break. Because all those guys have about a 4 to 5 day period in which they're not playing. How do they look in that first series post All-Star break? Are the hitters still hot? Are they cold? Maybe you can find a correlation between those, but I got no issue with the playoff format. At this point, they're not going to go back. And moving forward, I don't know how you can change things. At the end of the day, it's just play better, beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and everyone but the Astros seems to fail at doing that. So, uh, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, Dodgers and the Braves were the two worst team batting averages in the playoffs
Which is
so far.
crazy
It's
because those
insane,
those were
right?
the two best offenses in all of baseball, and they both just win cold. Hey, at least for the Braves, it's not just the Dodger superstars that hit to Cancun early. I don't know if you saw the numbers, Josh, but Acuna pooped the bed, Matt Olson pooped the bed. Everyone essentially pooped the bed for the Braves, so at least it's
Yeah,
not a Dodgers thing. So
yeah,
I tweeted it last night saying, hey, at least the Dodgers didn't have the biggest choke of October, which a lot of people got really antsy about. I think it's because it made its way over to Braves Twitter. And I still stand by that. The Braves, World Series favorites all season, had the greatest offense we've ever seen. And really, they could have been swept. They just needed to come back to win at least one game. So I stand by at least the Dodgers didn't have the biggest choke. But hey, we're in this together, Josh. Dodgers Braves in Cancun, game one Monday. Will you be watching?
Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah, lucky.
Yeah.
Let me know how it let me know how it goes, and let me know how Kershaw looks on Monday.